Muy buenas, queridos amantes, aventuras, soy Mucha y estamos por fin, después de una semana, en el Dragon Age Inquisition, ¿vale? Estamos aquí después... Dios, lo fuerte que habla este bicho. El bicho este, ¿qué es esta cosa de aquí? Normalmente la gente... Pues ya está. Ya, me deja hablar. ¿Ya?
I wonder, do the Montiliers still have it in their possession?
Me pongo aquí para que se calle.
Like to see it again.
Me pongo aquí para que se calle, gente. Ha pasado una semanilla, ¿vale? He cambiado la cara del personaje por fin. Ya le he quitado las cosillas estas que tenía aquí que no me gustaba, ¿vale? Mira, antes tenía esta cara, ¿vale, gente? Me había basado... Bueno, coño, lo enseño ya está. Tenía... La forma de la cara tenía esta. La alargada, ¿vale? Que es la que tenía estas cosas aquí tan exageradas que a mí no me gustaban en los de estos. Al final me he ido a forma de la cara 1. Si os fijáis, mira, aquí como estaba antes y así como está ahora, más redondita. Le he puesto la cara. Es verdad que la cara parece un poquito más seria, ¿no? Con los ojos y con las cosas. Es verdad que parece un poquito más seria, tiene menos orejas de elfo. Pero yo qué sé, la verdad que... ¿Quieres continuar? Sí, sí, sí. Coño, no quiero... Si sales perderá todos los cambios de tu apariencia de tu personaje. Sí, claro, si no quiero hacerle cambios. Ahora no te deja salir... Recordad que estoy con el mando, ¿eh? Aquí no te va a salir, tienes que aceptar uno de estos dos, así que vamos a coger rostro actual. No lo he cambiado, ¿vale? Él siempre opina. Él gruñe y dice, bueno, si estás contento en esa cara. Así que ya está. Este es el tono que... ¿Vale? Un poco serio, la verdad. No, normalmente tengo el Inquisición siempre un poquillo más coqueto. Este Inquisición un poquillo más serio. Pero bueno, la verdad que por lo que veo, he probado todos los ángulos diferentes, vamos a verlo ahora hablando, ¿vale? Pero la frente, la verdad que me gusta, la boca me gusta, que para lo que hay. Incluso me intenté ir a mod, a intentar instalar algún que otro mod, pero que va. Tenemos que ir al refugio. Pero si el refugio no vamos con nadie. Qué tontería, ¿no? Lo de elegir... Eso siempre ocurre, ¿no? En el refugio no vamos nunca con nadie. Ahora la primera carga, esperemos que no tarde 3 años como tardó la otra vez. Ah, mira, no, tarda poquito. Vamos a hablar con todo el mundo de refugio, gente. Va a ser un capítulo tranquilo, va a ser un capítulo relajado porque tenemos que hablar con todos. Tenemos que coger todas las misiones y tenemos que hablar con todos, ¿vale? Vamos a hablar aquí con los dos que hay. Porque hay dos. Ah, Kulen y por acá. Zada tenía que estar. Ah, y Cassandra. Venga, vamos adelante con Cassandra, venga. Siempre, concilla importante, como la primera vez o después de un evento gordo, hay como pequeñas cinemáticas. Eres impresionante. Ah, bueno, esto es por si tú quieres empezar a coquetear, ¿no?
Sí.
Se suponía que era yo. ¿Estás bien? Tía, pues me gusta mi personaje mucho, ¿eh? Pasé básico del juego. Pasé básico. Me gusta bastante, ¿eh? Eso es verdad, ¿eh? Eso es verdad, ¿eh?
One day they may write about me as a traitor, a madwoman, a fool, and they may be right.
La verdad es que sí, ¿eh? Siempre investigar gente, porque si tú no investigas es posible que después se vaya, ¿eh?
What does your faith tell you?
I believe you are innocent. I believe more is going on here than we can see. And I believe no one else cares to do anything about it. They will stand in the fire.
De vez en cuando parece como rayita, pero creo que son la gente de atrás luchando. Esto puedo sacarlo, ¿no? Estos son como especiales, ¿no? Puedo hacer preguntas.
Eso es un especial que se irá si cambias el ahora.
Entonces ya está, es lo suyo.
You don't think I'm the herald of Andraste?
I think you were sent to help us. I hope you were. But the Maker's help takes many forms. Sometimes it's difficult to discern who it truly benefits or how.
¿Y ahora qué?
What's going to happen now?
Now, we deal with the Chantry's panic over you before they do even more harm. Then we close the breach. We are the only ones who can.
Tipadura, ¿eh?
After that, we find out who is responsible for this chaos, and we end them. And if there are consequences to be paid for what I have done, I pay them.
¡Qué buena cámara!
I only pray the price is not too high.
De verdad,
Tú cuenta de que son cinemáticas que se hacen en tiempo real.
Ya.
Tiene esas cosas raras.
Pues Coño, es que me ha salido muy bien. Puede que lo diga mucho, pero es que de verdad me ha salido... Es que en comparación cómo estaba... Es que, gente, creo que los elfos en esta... Tú sabes que en este juego, por ejemplo, en el 1, se caracterizaron por la nariz, creo que era, la nariz... Y los cuerpos súper delgados, eran cabezones en comparación con los cuerpos súper escuálidos. En el 1, la única diferencia que tenían era las orejas. Era más, en el 2 cambió muchas cosas. Y aquí creo que, ¿ves? Tienen como... Bueno, yo señalo... Pero es que como no tengo ratón, gente, porque no tengo ratón, yo señalo en mi pantalla, aunque vosotros no lo veis. Pero es verdad que las cejas parece que los elfos la tienen como muy prominentes, ¿no? Como que aparte de la nariz, que aquí no tienen narices normales, tienen como las cejas muy prominentes. Coño, para lo que hay, coño, me ha salido muy bien. Que lo dije, llegué a un punto incluso a pensar en instalar mod, en instalar modificación y mod para los guapos que tienen los personajes y los demás. Pero este juego de mod, gente, este juego de mod rechaza los mods. Hay ciertos DLC que directamente se buguean como tengas mod. Directamente tú no puedes entrar DLC como tengas mod, porque por lo que sea, cualquier cosa, a lo mejor visita los archivos, visita las cosas y en serio es horrible este juego con los mods. Así que claro, intento hacer lo mejor posible y mira, la verdad que no tenía muchas ganas de toquetear más al personaje, pero coño, es que el ángulo, todo, la verdad que me ha salido muy bien. Coño, estoy... No parece que tenga... No tiene los ojos hinchados, ¿no? Yo creo que está bien, tío, está bien.
No le demos vuelta que te tengo.
Bueno, ya no hay vuelta atrás.
Isn't it a bit late to worry about it now?
We have only just begun. My trainers always said, Cassandra, you are too brash. You must think before you act. I see what must be done, and I do it. I see no point in running around in circles like a dog chasing its tail. But I misjudged you in the beginning, did I not? I thought the answer was before me, clear as day. I cannot afford to be so careless again.
Bueno, me alegra oír eso, al menos.
Can't say I'm not grateful to hear that.
I can be harsh, I know. You've said you believe you're chosen. Does that mean you believe in the Maker?
Uf. No voy a decir que no lo sé. Yo tampoco voy a hacer muy de los dioses élficos ni nada. Hostia, no, quería que tenía algo exagerado hinchado, pero no, era cosa del ángulo. La verdad que está muy bien. Ni muy alto, ni muy... Y tampoco creo que lo tengo muy profundo los ojos, ¿no?
I can't really say.
I suppose it doesn't matter now. I have to believe we were put on this path for a reason, even if you do
De
not.
hecho, la vía atea
Now it simply remains to see where
y
it
la vía
leads us.
religiosa.
La vía religiosa, ¿no? En que tú dices, no, sí, yo creo en
Vamos
Andraste.
por el poder de la fe. Yo he hecho las dos vías. Las dos son divertidas.
Sí. No ve, ¿por qué se quita el personaje, tío?
Pero yo...
Tiene que haber un botón o algo para tú mirar el personaje, pero bueno. Ahora. No lo tengo muy profundo. Digo, tendré el ojo
Mira,
muy...
¿tienes para saquear algo? Yo no lo sabía.
No lo tengo los ojos metidos para adentro, ¿no? Lo que pasa es que tiene mucha nariz. Bueno, eso es característico de los elfos. Eso es característico de los elfos.
Ahí tienes para saquear.
Voy. Ahora saqueo, tranquila.
Es que yo no lo sabía. Me acabo de dar cuenta ahora.
Eres doña saqueadora.
Qué divertido.
No lo tengo muy metido. Digo, si tengo los ojos metidos para adentro, no. Venga, saqueo. Venga, vamos a hablar con Cassandra. Vamos a ir con uno a uno.
I don't actually know much about you.
What do you want to know?
I'm not sure. Where are you from?
Decírselo, inventarse algo, ¿no?
I thought you knew that.
I suppose I could ask Liliana. She has collected a frightening amount of information on you.
No
But I
tengo
don't
los ojos
want to
mal.
ask her. I want to hear it from you.
Decírselo, coño.
My clan never stayed in one place for long, though we primarily roamed the free marches.
Oh? I didn't think your people roamed that far north. But clearly I'm mistaken. I'm told some members of your clan might still be alive. Do you intend to go back?
Uf. Mi hogar se traslada conmigo.
Wherever I am is home enough for me.
That's how I feel now, after years of tending to business for the divine.
Oh, háblame de ti.
I'd like to get to know you better.
You would?
Is that a problem?
Not entirely. I'm just curious as to your motivation.
¡Nubi! Solo quiero ser amable. Tú sí que eres suspicaz.
You're a very suspicious person, you know that.
When it's warranted.
I can see why you have so many friends.
As you wish. My name is Cassandra Pentecost, daughter of the Royal House of Navarra, 78th in line for the Navarran throne. I joined the Seekers of Truth as a young woman, and was with the Order until they withdrew from the Chantry. I remained as the Divine's right hand, carrying out her order to form the Inquisition. And here we are. That's all there is to know, my lord.
¿Pertenece a la realeza?
You're a member of Navarra's royal family.
The Pentecosts are a very large clan. Half of Cumberland could say the same.
Really?
No, but it feels that way. I have hundreds of relatives so distant they need charts to prove we're related at all. And they have them. Oh yes. The Pentecosts value their precious blood like it runs with gold.
You're not on very good terms with your family, then.
I do not visit, if that's what you mean. The Pentecosts are famed for dragon hunting.
Tío, no sabía que Cassandra me cayera tan bien, ¿eh? No recordaba yo que me cayera tan bien, tío.
They pay lip service to the Maker and care only for idle pleasures and
No me acordaba, tío.
My brother was all that kept me in Navarra. Once he was gone, so was I.
¿Qué le pasó a tu hermano?
Tell me about your brother.
I would prefer not to speak of Anthony. Another time, perhaps.
Ah, háblame de Navarra.
You don't seem to like your homeland much.
My family polluted it for me.
No vi.
What little I saw of my homeland was through the bars of a gilded cage. My uncle treated me like a porcelain doll to be placed on a shelf and dusted only when necessary. Thus, I did not see Navarra, the real Navarra, until much later. By then, I realized I knew it not at all.
¿Y tus padres?
Your uncle? What about your parents?
They had the misfortune of taking the wrong side in the second attempt to overthrow King Marcus. The king executed them, but spared my brother and I since we were family, and children at the time. Thus we were raised by my uncle, a mortalitasi who preferred the company of his corpses to the living.
¿Un mortalitasi?
Your uncle was a mortalitasi.
A death mage. He still is. My countrymen do not burn the dead, they bury them in special crypts. The mortalitasi supervise the crypts, like priests. Uncle Vestalis oversees the grand necropolis. Navarrans spend more time honoring dead relatives than they do with living ones. It is odd to be so fascinated with death and its trappings. I will never understand it.
¿Trabajaste para la
So
divina?
you were the right hand to the divine.
To Divine Justinia, yes. And Divine Beatrix before her, in fact. The position is normally reserved for Templars of the Knights Divine, but my circumstances were unusual.
Unusual how?
You don't know the story? Thank the Maker. I will tell you if you wish, but it isn't as exciting as some drum it up to be. The short version is that I once saved the previous Divine's life. My reward was becoming her right hand.
¿Qué es la mano derecha?
But what does a right hand do exactly?
What is your hand capable of? It gives, it takes, it beckons. It makes a fist. Liliana and I extended the Divine's reach beyond the Grand Cathedral. We went where she could not. After Beatrix, I was tired of the position and wanted to return to the Seekers. But Justinia convinced me to stay. Her vision for the future gave me hope.
Justinia era muy
She could really
querida, ¿eh?
change things.
Justinia knew the war was coming long before it began. She tried to avert it, but the forces arrayed against her were too strong. Sometimes you have to break a bone so it can be reset. That's where the Inquisition comes in. It was to be the answer. A means to preserve as well as an agent for change. I only wish she had lived to see it.
¿Cómo te convertiste en mano
So
derecha?
what's the story about you becoming the right hand?
Sweet andraste, do you really want to hear that? It was, what, 18, 20 years ago? Some still discuss it like it happened yesterday. The tale gets bigger each time it's told. I barely recognize myself within it now.
Está haciendo modesta.
I'm sure you're just being modest.
I was there. I think I know what happened. To hear others tell it, I alone saved Divine Beatrix from a horde of dragons sent to assault the Grand Cathedral. Rather impressive for such a young seeker, wouldn't you say?
And the truth is?
I stumbled upon a conspiracy to kill Beatrix. A Templar Knight Commander was at its heart. And there was a dragon battle at the Grand Cathedral. But I had help from loyal mages who rallied to the cause. They freed the dragons from magical control. Without them, the Divine and I would both have died. Yet I became the right hand, and they are forgotten.
What happened to the mages that helped you?
They went back to their circles, with rewards and privileges and Most Holy's gratitude. Many of them died at the conclave.
No ve.
I think you're a hero, no matter how you downplay it.
Fine. But it was 20 years ago. I will not rest upon my laurels.
Venga, ¿qué más?
I'll let you get back to work.
Yes?
Háblame de los buscadores.
Can you tell me more about the Seekers?
The Seekers of Truth were born from the original Inquisition long ago, when it united with the Chantry. Seekers stood above the Templars, watching over them but also investigating magical events they couldn't handle. We were meant to be incorruptible, above reproach. How seldom does reality match the ideal?
But what are Seekers exactly?
Those who know anything of us think we are Templars. We do not use lyrium, however. Our abilities are different, as was our original purpose. We disciplined the Templars and were accountable only to the Divine. And not even her, truthfully.
Coño.
So the Seekers commanded the Templars?
No. The Order didn't assume command until after the rebellion. The Templars have always feared us. When a Seeker arrived at a circle, they knew trouble was afoot. That kind of power is troubling. You begin to think you are the only one who can solve the world's problems. If you don't see a problem, it doesn't exist. If someone insists it does, they are the blind ones.
Do you think that kind of problem could ever be fixed?
Possibly. Though the Seekers themselves would need to change. They were clearly not willing to, even though they abandoned everything they stood for to avoid it. In my heart, I believe they can still be salvaged, but not by their own hands.
¿Qué habilidades tenéis?
You mentioned that Seekers have different abilities than Templars.
Entirely. A Templar's abilities come from lyrium and are designed to hunt mages. Ours come from ritual and many years of dedicated training. We cannot be possessed by demons and are immune to mind control. Useful, considering our role. Seekers can gain other gifts, though that depends on the individual.
What kind of gifts do you have?
I can set the lyrium within a person's blood aflame. Both mages and Templars bend before my will. Some Seekers use it to interrogate, others simply to paralyze. Once there was a Seeker who could use it to kill. That particular gift is considered rare.
Ah.
How does someone become a Seeker?
Most Seekers begin training in their youth. I was much older, an exception due to my noble birth. We train rigorously for years. Our bodies and minds must be elastic to undergo the vigil, and most fail even then.
Is the vigil some kind of initiation?
It is the rite every Seeker must go through in order to summon their gifts. A full year of fasting, prayer, and separation from all distractions, including other people. We empty ourselves of all emotion, focusing only on the purity of our devotion. And the moment it finally ends, it's wonderful. Faith realized. I cannot put it into words.
I wish I could experience that.
If the vigil was not so arduous, I'd say more should attempt it. What if mages never needed to fear possession by demons? I'm told it is impossible, however. I suppose I'll never know the truth of it now.
Why did your order turn against the Chantry?
We originally united with the Chantry through a treaty that stated they would keep mages under control. It was felt Most Holy had tacitly allowed the Circle of Magi to vote on its independence, thus breaking the treaty. The Seekers saw themselves as justified, and they led the Templars into a war of righteousness.
You sound like you disagree.
We knew what was happening at Kirkwall, where the Mage Rebellion began. We looked
Me
into
encanta la
reports
armadura
of
de dragón,
Knight
una de mis
Commander
favoritas del
Merrick's
juego.
harsh treatment of her charges years earlier. But we found so many shocking cases of magical corruption, it was decided her actions were justified. If we'd been there when it happened, if we'd looked harder at the root causes.
Voy a darle donde duele. No le va a gustar, pero es lo que pienso.
Mages were oppressed. What else did you expect?
I expected us to do better. When faced with a problem, the Seekers would close ranks and crush it. We would find an answer, but only once we felt we weren't being coerced.
No le va a gustar, yo lo sabía.
The moment the mages
Pero tampoco voy a lamerle la píldora porque sí, ¿sabes?
It was difficult to watch.
No sé por qué, pero el resto de charla no me acuerdo nada. Te digo yo a ti, de verdad, estoy cajín con la uña porque con el resto de charla no me acuerdo nada. Pero de Cassandra me acuerdo todo, tío. No entiendo, creo que es como siempre, es uno de los primeros personajes que hablo con Cassandra. Y me acuerdo de todo.
They have no Templars, no leadership, and no one left who is worthy of succeeding the Divine. It has fallen apart when everyone needs it the most. I ache to think what this will mean in the days to come.
¿Debe salvarse la capilla?
Do you really believe the Chantry is worth
No,
preserving?
lo que pasa es que aquí no te dice en qué nivel tienes a tus compis. No te lo dice.
Cast the Chantry aside and new problems replace old ones. We will have learned nothing from history. The people need stability, and the Chantry needs a new purpose. Andraste had a dream for us. It can still be
Súper
achieved.
creyente, tío.
So what should that new purpose be?
A dedication to what is truly important. Instead of building cathedrals and sewing gowns for the Divine, the Chantry used to spend its coin feeding the poor. If we are to spread the Maker's word across the world, we must do so with open hearts and open hands.
Súper idealista, ¿eh?
That sounds rather idealistic of you.
Does it? I do not think it's so unachievable. The Chantry has many good, honest people. They just need direction and inspiration. They need to be freed from centuries of adherence to tradition and ceremony. A chance for renewal is at our fingertips. It does not have to come with utter chaos.
Canciller Roderick. Ah, vale. Ese es el cabrón del primer capítulo.
He's a bureaucrat, responsible for communicating the Divine's will to the rest of the Chantry. Therefore, he's accustomed to the clerics hanging on his every word, hoping his influence will benefit them. Despite that, Roderick is not a bad man. He's frightened, and believes his place is to fill the gap left by Most Holy's death. Some might agree. As far down the chain of command as he is, there is no one left above him.
Hostia, es verdad que todos los que estuvieran es que todo arte cargo estaba en la explosión.
He sent his message to the College of
Hostia.
Clerics. That is the only card he had to play. Dealing with him further only lends him credibility he doesn't deserve.
¿Habrá una nueva divina?
Will the Chantry replace Divine Justinian?
They will try. Once the priests withdraw for the Grand Consensus, it is against Chantry law for them to emerge without naming a new divine. Sometimes it takes days, or weeks, or even months. The problem now is that no clear successor to Justinia exists. All worthy clerics died with her at the conclave.
Es que no veía, tío. Es que no ve lo que se ha
So what
liado.
happens if they can't agree on someone?
Theoretically, they will argue until exhaustion takes them or they see reason. Practically, however, if the Grand Consensus goes on too long, the Chantry will crumble. Any cleric with ambition but little sense will see this as her one chance, and plenty of such clerics exist. We shall see what happens. The Inquisition must act in the meantime.
If they do choose a new divine, will you serve her?
That depends on whether she would have me. I am a rebel now, remember? And even if she would, I do not know. It would depend on what type of divine she is. I am no longer in a position to follow blindly, and no new divine could expect such obedience now.
I'm surprised you rebelled against the Chantry.
I left my own order when they took the wrong path. It is no different. But in neither case did I stop caring. Indeed, I care so much that I feel drastic action is necessary. I suppose history shall one day judge my actions.
Thank you.
No veas.
Yes?
Ya está.
That's enough for now.
Another time, then.
Pues gente, con esto tenemos que hacerlo con todo, ¿vale? Ya sé que algo pesadete, por no decir mucho, pero es necesario, porque a medida que avancemos en la historia van a ver nuevas cinemáticas. ¿Esto qué es? El look dorado. Se sincronizarán los objetos coleccionables de los distintos juegos, descargando aquellos que hayas subido con anterioridad y subiendo los recién conseguidos. Eso es por si tú has conseguido el resto, ¿no? De coleccionables. Digo que sí o que no.
Lo que tú quieras.
¿Pero esto qué es de coleccionables? Simplemente cosilla extra, ¿no?
Sí.
Ah, vale. Coño,
Todo lo
coño.
que he ido adquiriendo yo también.
Vale.
Expected you be by. I'm Harriet,
Es un poco
and everyone
chetante, un
knows who
poco de
you are.
repetición.
How's the new
Es que
gear?
de todo, hasta lo he
¿Cómo va el nuevo
saltado.
equipo? Bastante bien.
Sturdy and warm. It's perfect.
Good. World's gone mad. Stock armor and blades are good against bandits, but we're not fighting bandits. My gear will see you through demons, apostates, whatever this world throws at you. So, you need custom work, something special. You bring the materials to us, we'll make it happen.
Investigar. ¿Cuál es tu historia?
How did you come to be here?
Come from a little
Al principio hay
town
muchas
called
preguntas y muchas cosas. Después a lo mejor tú no estarás en tu guarida nunca. Pero al principio es que, claro, tienes que conocer a todo el mundo.
helped rebuild. Left when royalty decided it was time to hand the place over to the bloody mages. Then again, fair's fair. It was one of them that stopped the blight and all. Ended up here. Just missed the boom. Can't decide if I'm the luckiest son of a bitch walking or the exact opposite.
You're still walking. That's always good.
True enough.
Esto es cierto. ¿Equipa a las tropas?
Who outfits the Inquisition soldiers?
Not me. I've got work to do. Can't be passing a sword to every blighter who signs up. If you want to help the troops, talk to Thren, the quartermaster. She'll set up requisitions.
Vale. Y los
Does the
es decir, esto es
Inquisition
para
have
cosas a
supplies to
medida.
make armor or weapons?
Tough convincing traders to haul up here. Impossible to get them to risk the rare stuff, so that's on you.
Vale. ¿Qué puedes traer aquí?
What can you and your team make here?
Arms and armor. We work iron to blighted dragon bone if you've got it. Our designs are simple, but they get the job
Dios mío, no
done.
para de
You want something
salir eso.
fancy, bring your own design. We'll see
No
what
por
we
algo
can
yo he
do.
jugado bastante.
Pero bastante, bastante. ¿Puedes mejorar mi equipo?
Can you help improve my arms and armor?
Yes. You find a new piece, a pauldron or greaves, we'll take care of you. You can't just slap a new hilt on your sword in the field. Bring it here, we'll make sure it's done right and proper.
¿Tiene algún
If
diseño?
I want something, what can you make?
Start simple. Something to keep you safe. Take a look at it on the table there and we can talk. You'll need materials. We should have what you
Bueno, ya
want
está,
just
gente.
outside.
Goodbye.
Right.
Vale, esto es para modificar la arma. Para modificar la armadura. ¿Esto qué es? Ah, esto es para comprar y vender. Esto era para mierdecilla, ¿no? No, vender. Esto era, ¿no? ¿Objetos valiosos son?
Eso es la basura.
Esto es la basura, ¿no?
Sí, eso es basura.
¿Se llama así? ¿Objetos valiosos?
Sí, para que tú puedas venderlo.
Esto es fabricar armas, fabricar cosillas. Joder, es que nosotros... Semilla encontrar 16 de 18, tío. Es que lo tengo casi todo. Es que... ¿Por qué me lo has dicho que tienes tantas cosas, niña?
Amor, ¿tú
Era-
qué te esperas cuando has entrado
Era
y
una
pon-
friki.
y pones 100 y pico horas?
Mi golpe penetra más hondo de cualquier enemigo cuya salud... A ver, ¿cuál es esta? ¿Este cuál es? Trasladas los efectos de estado a enemigos cercanos, mientras que se los quita a los enemigos que atacas con tus dagas. Y esto es golpe mortal. Arremete violentamente con una habilidad veloz y letal. Vuelves a hacerlo contra un enemigo herido. Vale, me gusta esta más. Voy a ir por este camino más, gente. Voy a especializarme por ahora en 2 dagas. Aunque también debería especializarme porque después más adelante las técnicas de 2 dagas tampoco las utiliza mucho. ¿Sabes? Debería ponerme sabotaje. ¿Sabes? Cada vez que utilizo un golpe crítico regenera vigor por estas pasivas, gente. ¿Sabes? Porque más adelante estas habilidades... Bueno, esto sí que está bien. Todas las cosillas de círculo están bien. Pero las habilidades estas, es verdad que parecen muy potentes, pero más adelante cuando tengas tus mejoras, ¿sabes? No Esto está bien. Yo creo que todas las habilidades redondas las voy a conseguir. Porque después más adelante casi todo va a ir para asesino. Bueno, vamos a hablar con Cullen. Como he dicho, gente, hay que hablar con todos, ¿vale? Más adelante no os preocupéis que cambia. Bueno, vamos a hablar con Cullen. Ya está hablando con Cullen, ¿eh? Ahí está tu querido amor.
Lieutenant, don't hold back. The recruits must prepare for a real fight, not a practice one.
Yes, Commander.
We've received a number of recruits, locals from Haven and some pilgrims. None made quite the entrance you did.
No, de verdad, me ha salido muy bien, ¿eh? Aparte, tengo como los ojos rojitos y tal, que esto sí me gusta. Bueno, me alegro de estar aquí.
I just hope I can help.
As do we all. It is enough that you would try. I was recruited to the Inquisition in Kirkwall myself. I was there during the Mage Uprising. I saw firsthand the devastation.
Lleva 3 horas los diagramas saliendo, tío. Lleva 3 horas.
When she offered me a position, I left the Templars to
También te
join
está
her
saliendo lo
cause.
esto.
Now it seems we face something far
Y aún así me
worse.
faltan cosas, ¿eh?
Creo que la marcha ayudará. Todo está hecho un desastre. ¿Confías en la Inquisición?
You left the Templars for this. You believe the Inquisition can work.
I do. The Chantry lost control of both Templars and Mages. Now they argue over a new divine while the breach remains. The Inquisition could act when the Chantry cannot. Our followers would be part of that. There's so much we can...
No, se ve emocionado, ¿eh?
Forgive me. I doubt you came here for a lecture.
Me gusta tu entusiasmo.
Lo puedes decir.
Sí, me gusta. Sí,
Díselo.
por...
No, but if you have one prepared, I'd love to hear it.
Another time, perhaps.
La C, en alguno es horrible la sonrisilla que pone, tío.
Y ya tú no sabes, le pones el...
As I was saying.
A tu personaje le ha quedado guapo, ¿eh?
A mi personaje le ha quedado muy bien. Yo sé que hay alguna lunar y cosillas así.
Pero la mía que era humana le falta.
Era horrible, tío. Es reír. Sí. Yo sé que hay algunas escenas que son ridículas, tío. No me ha salido mal, ¿eh? La sonrisilla, ¿eh?
No. Tú no tienes... Tu personaje está bastante...
Anda, qué gracia, tío. ¿Quién es esta?
You're the one they're calling the herald.
Sí. Supongo que me llaman así, pero en contra de mi voluntad. Pues de verdad. Está muy bien mi personaje, tío. Ya lo sé que lo he dicho 500 veces, pero es que está muy bien.
If you know a way to make them stop, I'm all ears.
I don't. These things have a way of taking on their own life. But I'm glad it has not run to your head. I did not join the Order to adjust my faith so easily. But I appreciate what the Inquisition is
¿Quién es esta
trying
tía?
to do, and your role in it. Though you may find not many Templars do. We're a distrustful lot by nature.
Ah, que es templaria. ¿Pero quién eres tú?
I'd like your take on the Templar Order.
It's a shadow of what it was. Where once we both protected all people from the dangers of magic, we now posture and grab at power.
Se subió un poquillo a la
One day,
cabeza.
I hope the circles are again sanctuaries where mages can practice their craft.
Claro. ¿Te has quedado en
You're
refugio?
not going to rejoin the Order.
When the temple went up, your forces rescued those few of us still alive.
Por lo 26, niña, que tengo
My life
free,
as a
sobre todo ahora que
dead
tu
I
ordenador está
intend to
apagado.
repay, however I can.
¿Qué pasó en el
Do you
conclave?
have any idea what caused the explosion?
No, I'm just a recruit. Belief and faith doesn't get you closer to the important meetings. Though that distance did save my
pasa?
life.
How did you come to be a Templar?
It seemed the right thing to do. My family are tradesfolk in Denerim. I could have become a cobbler like my father, but this seemed better. It's a chance to uphold the Chantry's laws and help the mages through a troubled time.
Es una posibilidad de defender. Bueno, era una idealista, ¿eh?
Not every Templar feels that way.
I know. Power can corrupt. It's a delicate balance. One person trying to do something can make a difference. You should keep that in mind, Harold.
Me ha caído bien la tipa.
I will talk to you later.
Walk in the Maker's grace.
Me ha caído muy bien. Gente, 2 segundillos, ¿vale? Vamos a hacer una pequeña pausa, 2 segundillos. Vaya a haber un pequeño corte, pero ahora vuelvo. 2 segundos. Gente, ya estamos por aquí. He ido de nuevo, sí, he ido de nuevo al Grimorio. Después de la pausa esta que hemos hecho, que es para cosillas de la casa. Pero hemos ido de nuevo al Grimorio para... Al Emporio ese, perdón, para ver lo de los ojos y no. Los ojos lo tengo perfecto. Lo que pasa es que los elfos en este juego, bueno, en el 2 también tienen la nariz tan pronunciada, ¿no? La ceja y la nariz tan pronunciada que parece que tienen los ojos un poco metidos para adentro. Pero no, es así. La mayoría de las caras tienen esos ojos. Y está bien, vaya, que tengo los ojos... Tengo los ojos perfectos, vaya. Ni muy metido, ni muy sacado. Lo normal, ¿sabes? Así que sí, mi personaje está muy guapo, la verdad. ¿Estás con alguien? ¡No vi! ¡No vi! ¡No vi! ¡A saco! No.
¿Para que te rechace?
No.
I'd like to know more about the Templars.
If you need insight into what the Order is doing now, I'm afraid I can't offer more than you already know.
Es verdad que ya lo abandonó
Anything
completamente.
else, I will answer as best I can.
Investigar. ¿Cómo te metiste a
Why did
Templario?
you join the Order?
Yo es que este no me acuerdo casi nada. El efecto tiene muy poca atención.
I used to beg the
Yo me lo sé,
Templars, our
¿no?
local chantry, to teach me. At first, they merely humored me. I must have a promise, or at least a willingness to learn.
Me voy a morir.
The Knight Captain spoke to my parents on my behalf. They agreed to send me to training.
Bueno,
I was 13 when I left home.
no vi que iba a morir. Qué corta edad, ¿no?
13? That's still so young.
I wasn't the youngest there. Some children are promised to the Order at infancy. Still,
No
I
me queda
didn't
morir.
take on full responsibilities until I was 18. The Order sees you trained and educated first.
¿Y la familia?
What about your family? Did you miss them?
Of course, but there were many my age who felt the same. We learned to look out for one another.
¿A qué se dedican?
Do the Templars do anything besides hunt mages?
Templars protect against the dangers of magic. Before the Order left the Chantry, that meant serving in a circle. They were also tasked with tracking apostates or fighting demons inevitably summoned by the weak or malicious.
Creo que tenía algo ahí, pero bueno. ¿Qué piensas de los magos?
What do you think of mages? Are they all a threat?
I've seen the suffering magic can inflict. I've treated mages with distrust because of it, at times without cause. That was unworthy of me. I will try not to do so here.
¡Oh, ha aprendido!
Not that I want mages moving through our place completely unchecked. We need safeguards in place to protect people, including mages, from possession at the least.
Tú has vivido en el círculo.
You've lived in the Circle. What was a typical day for a Templar there?
Typical. The last time I was in a circle was right before it fell apart. Nothing was typical.
Before that, then?
Certain rituals require a full guard. A mage's howling, for instance. I've attended a few. Most of the time, you merely maintain a presence, on patrol or in the circle, ready to respond if needed. Mages pretend to ignore that presence, but they're watching you just as closely.
The Templars and mages never speak to each other.
Some do, but Templars are supposed to maintain a certain distance from their charges. If a mage is possessed or uses blood magic, you must act quickly, without hesitation. Your judgment cannot be clouded. Of course, ignoring one another does nothing to foster understanding.
No se ha cargado bien estos dos. Pero bueno. Está peleando uno con el aire.
What does Templar training involve?
There is weapon and combat training. Even without their abilities, Templars are among the best warriors in Thedas. Initiates must also memorize portions of the Chant of Light, study history, and improve their mental focus.
Did you enjoy your training?
I wanted to learn everything. If I was giving my life to this, I would be the best Templar I could.
You were a model student.
I wanted to be. I wasn't always successful. Watching a candle burn down while reciting the Chant of Transfigurations wasn't the most exciting task. I admit, my mind sometimes wandered.
Hágame tu voto.
Templars take vows. I swear to the Maker to watch all the mages, that sort of thing.
There's a vigil first. You're meant to be at peace during that time, but your life is about to change. When it's over, you give yourself to a life of service. That's when you're given a filter, your first draft of lyrium and its power. As Templars, we are not to seek wealth or acknowledgement. Our lives belong to the Maker and the path we have chosen.
That's all I wanted to know. Thank you.
Another time, then. Was there something you needed?
I should get to know you better. We're working together after all.
What would you like to know?
All right. Where are you from?
¿Ya está? Ah, esto me pasa siempre.
A mí también.
I grew up in Ferelden, near Honleath. I was transferred to Kirkwall shortly after the Blight. This is the
Eso
first
siempre
I've returned
aparece,
in almost
es verdad.
10 years.
Un horror cuando sale.
You haven't seen Ferelden in 10 years. Are you glad to be back?
I was not sorry to leave at the time. I did not expect to return. Now, between the Divine's murder and the breach,
Es verdad que él se fue a las marcas libres.
Claro, él estaba en todas
You were in
partes.
Ferelden during the Blight. Did you fight Darkspawn?
No. I was stationed at Ferelden's Circle Tower. The Circle had troubles of its own. I remained there during the Blight.
What happened at the Circle Tower?
Few who survived the Blight have fond memories of that time. I would prefer not to speak of it.
Lo pasaste mal, ¿eh? Lo pasó mal, no quiere hablar del círculo.
While I was there, Canary occupied and then attacked the city.
En verdad, hablar con estos personajes se aprende mucho para los que no haya jugado los anteriores, porque se supone que este, entre comillas, era como un reinicio con historia propia. Pero claro, en verdad, está muy perdido si tú no tienes bien claro
What happened between
todo este tipo,
Kirkwall's
todas
mages
estas
and
cosas.
Templars?
Claro,
Círculo, que es un círculo,
Must have
Todos los
heard people
conceptos.
speak of it.
¿sabes?
Yes, but you were
Es que
there.
y todo esto te lo aprenden en el resto, sobre todo en el primero.
Mages and Templars.
En el segundo era más a tu rollo, pero en el primero aprendes muchísimo de esto. Aquí es como, ¿de qué me estás contando? ¿Qué es esto?
Abominations began killing both sides. It was a nightmare.
What happened then?
The Templars should have restored order, but Red Lyria,
Qué bajito anda, habla cool, ¿eh?
Meredith mad. She threatened
Habla
to
súper
kill
bajo, ¿eh?
Kirkwall's
En mis
champion,
cascos lo estoy
turn
escuchando
on
súper
her
bajo.
men. I'm not sure how far she would have gone. Too far.
So you opposed her?
I stood with the champion against her in the end. I should have seen through Meredith sooner.
Barry de Kirkwall.
Varric's from Kirkwall. Did you
¿Qué nos
know
queda?
each other?
Barrick, Solas
He was friends with
y
the champion
Bernadette, ¿no?
Kirkwall, but little else. We've spoken more since I joined the Inquisition.
Bernadette, no.
Largely as
Es que no sé cómo se llama. La asistente.
Apparently, I spend too much time
La del
with
libro.
serious
Josefine. ¿Bernadette quién es?
and it's bad for my
¿Quién es Bernadette?
I'll let
Si
you
tú te
return to your
fijas, tú
work.
imagínate que
no,
Cullen
no.
ha cambiado tanto de que
Was
si
there
tú eres
something you needed?
una maga, puedes ligar con él.
What
que
do you
eres
think
maga.
of the people you work with?
Who do you mean?
¿Qué hay que estar con
What do you
Josefine?
think of our ambassador?
We have little in common. How she delights in meeting with nobles all day is beyond me. But I enjoy working with her.
Liliana.
How do you like working with Liliana?
The Inquisition would not exist without her. I may not always agree with her methods, but she's more passionate about our
Es verdad,
cause
Liliana
than
también tengo que hablar, ¿no?
Cassandra may have
Sí, pero
declared the
también con
Inquisition
Liliana.
publicly, but Liliana is just as responsible for its formation.
Are you satisfied with the Inquisition's forces?
Our numbers are small, but they suit our needs for the time being. Some Templars have joined us
Tío, no me
instead of
acordaba de nada de lo que me ha
following
contado, tío.
order. They've proven invaluable in training new recruits.
I should let you get back to work.
No me acordaba de nada,
Need
¿eh?
something?
¿Por qué se fue de la orden?
Why would Templars break away from the Chantry?
The Order believes the Chantry no longer supports their efforts, not to the extent they should.
¿Qué ha cambiado?
But the Templars have served the Chantry for ages.
And in that time, they've come to take the Order's services for
La
granted.
voz del protagonista es mucho más fuerte que la de Cullen, al menos aquí. Yo creo que es porque como están los efectos de sonido de la espada, se baja.
Feels if those efforts are
Pero la voz
dismissed.
del prota se escucha
I
mucho
may
más alto.
disagree with the Order's actions, but I'm here as proof of that. But I sympathize with their frustrations.
Algo que debas saber, tus camaradas, eso es todo.
Is there anything I should know?
Not at present.
Ya está, pues ya está.
That's all for now.
Should you require
No,
anything, I'll be
no quiero flirtear con él.
Pero, ves, que no te va a pasar nada por flirtear con él.
Aquí porque tengo una misión. O es por dentro.
So if we get better horses, you think that'll make a difference?
No, es aquí. ¿Qué cojones? Con...
Can you help improve my arms and armor?
You find a new
¿Qué misión tengo aquí?
Yo creo que tienes que hablar con el...
La armadura correcta. Ah, que te fabriquen alguna armadura. Ah, ¿alguna?
a pauldron or greaves
Tienes
will
que
take
fabricar
La que
armaduras.
sea, ¿no?
Sí, para que tú tengas materiales. Por ejemplo, esa mierda.
Valor armadura. ¿Por qué 0? 19, 14, 14, 16, 0. Ah, porque no puedo equipármela, ¿no? Porque esto es armadura media, ¿no? Pero ¿por qué no puede equiparte armadura media? 123.
Es pesada, cariño.
Joder.
Hazla ligera.
Ligera. ¿Y tú qué utilizas?
Tú eres mío.
¿Cómo lo sabes?
Explícalo.
Bueno, pues voy a ponérmela esto, la sombra de... ¿Y qué diferencia hay entre esto y esto? Ah, ¿que esta es legendaria?
Y esa es de mejor.
Ah, esto es un tocado. Esto es como algo para... Pues qué feos son, tío. Sí, sé cómo va. Sé cómo va. Depende, gente, lo que tú... Los materiales, ¿vale? Depende de los materiales, tiene un color u otro. Aparte de lo que le puede dar. Este, por ejemplo, tiene un espacio de qué. No te lo dice, ¿no? O no, yo creo que no tendrá ni espacio.
No tiene espacio.
Creo que será espacio principal. ¿Lo veo o no? Vamos a darle hierro, que es lo que más tengo por ahora. Y aquí, esto... Ah, vale, es que directamente esto no tiene ni espacio. Muy bien. Y esto te dice, por ejemplo, ¿ves? Utilidad. Pues esto te da astucia. Pues te da astucia. Esto de utilidad, destreza. Pues te da destreza. Pues yo qué sé, piel de Nook, por ejemplo.
No sé si eso es... Ah, ya se está completado.
Coño, no está nada mal, ¿eh? Para la mierda que tenía. Era una... No ve. Era una misión de...
Creo que tiene otra. El mismo sitio.
Bueno, da igual. Vamos a coger las misiones. ¿Tú qué quieres? Ah, no, es aquí, dentro de la casa.
Algún libro.
¿Envíos especiales?
Ah, vale.
Pero si eso ya lo hice.
¿Sí?
Sí,
¿Ahora que se te han sincronizado?
supongo. Estos son compras, ¿no? Esto es como para vender y comprar, ¿no? Ahí está, vender y comprar, vale. Por aquí tiene que estar Barrick.
Sí.
¡Hola, amigo!
So, now that Cassandra's
Nubi.
out of earshot, are you holding up all right? I mean, you go from being the most wanted criminal in Thedas to joining the armies of the faithful. Most people would have spread that out over more than one day.
Está muy bien mi personaje. Está muy bien. Murieron demasiado allí. Me alegra seguir con vida. Apenas consigo soportarlo. Todo esto es absurdo. Estoy bien.
None of this shit should have happened.
You don't know the half of it. For days now, we've been staring at the breach, watching demons and maker knows what fall out of it. Bad for morale would be an understatement. I still can't believe anyone was in there.
¿Y ese soy yo?
Qué suerte te pega lo de...
If it was that bad, why did you stay? Cassandra said you were free to go.
I like to think I'm as selfish and irresponsible as the next guy, but this... Thousands of people died on that mountain. I was almost one of them. And now there's a hole in the sky. Even I can't walk away and just leave that to sort itself out.
Tuve suerte.
It's pure luck that I escaped.
Good luck or bad? You might want to consider running at the first opportunity. I've written enough tragedies to recognize where this is going.
Qué bueno la escena de
Heroes are
Barry,
everywhere.
Cassandra. Qué
I've
buena
seen
era,
that.
tío.
But the hole in the sky, that's beyond heroes. We're going to need a miracle.
A mí me encanta Barry.
A mí también.
Need something?
Nubi, directamente un especial, así que antes que se pierda.
I've read your Tale of the Champion, and I have a few questions.
That's a pretty
Joder,
common
qué serio.
reaction.
Qué serio mi
Go
personaje, ¿no?
Sí, súper serio.
Súper serio. ¡Hostia, Anders!
What happened to the mage who destroyed the Kirkwall Chantry? The book never said.
He fled Kirkwall with the mages from the Circle. Stayed with them a while, but he had to move on. Somehow a lot of mages blamed him for making them live as fugitives.
Es verdad que en esta historia está
I don't know
vivo.
where he is now, and I don't want to know.
No entiendo cómo acabó Orsino.
In the book, you say that first Enchanter Orsino turned himself into a giant monster made of corpses.
Pero únicamente por preguntar.
Why?
Do I look like an expert on magical weirdness to you? Well, I can't tell you how. For the why, all I can say is he was desperate.
Te inventaste lo del Arichok.
There's no way Hawk really could have killed the Arishok. It would have started a war with the Qunari.
I was told later that the Qunari disavowed his actions. Apparently, the Arishok didn't get permission before he attacked Kirkwall, and the Qun didn't want another example.
Gloriosa marcha está en mayúscula,
When
¿eh?
they finally sent a ship to haul the Red Dreadnought away, they just said, "We will never speak of this again." As far as I can tell, That's the Kuhn's version of an apology.
¿Dónde están los amigos
Where are
de...?
the rest of Hawke's associates now?
Merrill decided to look after the elves left homeless by the fighting. She's done a pretty good job of keeping them away from the mages and
Pero no
Templars
estaba con Merrill.
so far. I guess she has plenty of practice avoiding stupid human battles with her old Dalish clan. Fenris has kept himself busy, hunting down the winter slavers who came south to prey on the
Juraría que había
refugees.
cargado el de esto,
I'm
¿eh?
not sure exactly where he is at the moment. You can usually follow the trail of corpses, though. Isabella went back to the raiders. She's calling herself an admiral now. I don't know if she's actually in charge or just has a really big hat. Might be the same thing, honestly. Sebastian went back to Starkhaven. I'm sure he's boring all sorts of people there. Last I knew, Hawke's sister Bethany was doing something wardeny near the Anderfell's border. Aveline is still guard captain. I'm pretty sure Kirkwall would fall into the sea if she quit her job.
Hostia.
No tiene por qué.
Sí, será.
No
Es que
sé.
una vez yo me acuerdo que Barry dijo, bueno, ella se fue junto con Merrill o algo así. Pero no sé, me resulta un poco raro, ¿eh? Seguro que está cargado, pero claro, no lo sabes, ¿no? Aunque no, sí, ponía que estaba el mundo adaptado.
Pues ya
Después
está.
miraremos si está mi mundo el que estaba cargado, ¿verdad?
¿Así?
Y yo sepa también. Después lo mira en tu ordenador, si es mi mundo el que estaba cargado.
De todas maneras.
Ya estoy en duda, gente.
De todas maneras, una cosa, de que el Barry te cuenta una vez la cosa, por ejemplo, como
Need
que
something.
Fenris también va a los veteranos
I
y
read
luego
your Tale
Hawke es
of
la
the
que te va
Champion.
confirmando
But I
cosas,
have a
¿eh?
few questions.
That's a pretty common reaction. Go ahead.
Ya está. Pues
Carry
qué
on.
raro. De verdad, que raro me ha parecido, ¿eh? Háblame del lirio.
Can I ask you something, Varric?
You want to talk about me? I'm flattered.
Madre, es que es muy raro que ha dicho Merrill no ha acabado, no está con Hawke, no sé qué. Me resulta muy raro, ¿eh?
Are you from Ferelden? Or Ley?
Free marches, born and raised in Kirkwall. And despite whatever you've heard, no, Kirkwall's not that bad.
¿No? ¿En qué trabajaba?
I'm not clear on your line of work. You're a merchant.
I'm a businessman. My family has a seat in the Dwarven Merchants Guild. Merchants buy and sell goods. Businessmen buy and sell stores. In my spare time, I manage a spy network, and occasionally, I write books.
Ah, escribe el libro.
If you've run a spy network, why is Leliana our spy master?
To be honest with you, she's just a better spy master. The truly great ones can keep their distance. They don't get attached to their people. Me, I always wind up babysitting my informants and worrying about their families. We're in better hands with her.
¿Qué libro escribe?
You're an author. What kind of books have you written?
I've tried my hands at a few genres. My crime serials are my most popular. Hard in Hightown, guards breaking the rules to get things done. The Tale of the Champion is the most famous thing I've written, or infamous maybe. I started a romance serial once, Swords and Shields, but to be honest, I don't have a knack for romances. Most of my stories end in tragedy. Probably that says something unfortunate about me personally.
¿Qué tienda
What
llevas?
sort of shops do you own?
Actually, we don't own shops. That was just an example. Mostly we invest in moneylenders. Auction houses, a few mercenary companies, a couple of smithies. I think we own half a beet plantation in Ravane somewhere. Most of that's my brother's doing. Bartrand had business sense. Not much tact, but loads of business sense.
¿De conoce a Cassandra?
How do you and Cassandra know each other?
You heard about the Kirkwall Chantry being destroyed? The guy responsible used to be a friend of mine. The Seeker had questions about that, and I had answers.
Háblame de la ballesta.
Where did you get that crossbow? I've never seen one like it.
Bianca? She's one of a kind. Funny story. I bought a salvaged ship and found her locked in a dragon bone reinforced chest in the hold. I broke 3 dozen lockpicks and blunted 9 saws opening that trunk, but it was worth it.
¿Por qué Bianca?
Who's she named for?
I can't tell you.
¿Por qué no?
And the reason for that is?
Complicated. It's the one story I'll never tell. We just have to leave it at that.
Thanks, Varric.
No problem.
Venga, háblame del lirio.
Something?
The red lyrium we found at the temple seemed to upset you.
My brother Bartrand and I sort of discovered red lyrium during an expedition in the Deep Roads. We located an ancient thaig, so old it barely looked dwarven. There was this idol there made of it. Bartrand brought it back to the surface, and, well, everything's gone downhill from there.
¿Qué es?
So what is it? Just another kind of lyrium?
The red stuff is lyrium like a dragon is a lizard. It's not just a different color. It has a whole host of weirdness all its own. I've written to every mining cast house in Orzammar. No one's seen this stuff before or knows where it came from.
Joder.
What makes it special?
Regular lyrium can mess you up pretty badly, but you have to ingest it for that to happen. Red lyrium messes with your mind when you're just near the stuff. You hear singing, get violent, paranoid, and then it does creepy shit. Makes things float, brings statues to life.
Impregna a lo demás, vaya.
Kirkwall's Knight Commander to lyrium. Everyone's been kept at least 100 paces from it since.
How did the red lyrium get in the Temple of Sacred Ashes?
I don't know. So as far as I knew, the only piece to make it to the surface was destroyed. And the location of the thaig it came from is a secret. Did someone find more of it in the deep roads? That's not a cheery thought.
I think that's enough on red lyrium.
Yeah, not really my favorite subject.
Pues creo que ya tenemos. How, historia personal. Gente,
Carry on.
va a hacer una mierda, pero voy a... Cristina ya la ha buscado, pero va a haber un pequeño corte porque quiero buscar lo del estado del mundo, de verdad. Porque justamente también quiero buscar la parte de si estoy con Merrill. Todavía nos queda solas y nos queda seguramente después de esto cortaremos. Hace una mierda, de verdad. Pero es que este capítulo teníamos que hacerlo. Teníamos que charlar con los compis. Un capítulo nada más de compis. Ya en el tercer capítulo iremos por el mundo. Vale, gente, ya estamos aquí, ya hemos vuelto. Pues sí, estaba mi mundo cargado. Y sí, habíamos salido, la campeona había salido con Merrill, por lo que no entiendo muy bien el por qué. Pero es lo que ha dicho antes Cristina, que seguramente eso es algo que sepa Barrick. Que Barrick sabe. ¿Sabe? En plan, Barrick no tiene por qué saberlo todo, ni qué pasó, ni nada por el estilo. Por lo que podía haber sido cosas diferentes simplemente. Así que ya está. ¿Vale? No tiene por qué ni ser... Pero no, está cargado y pone que es el mundo que está cargado en el mundo de Onimucha. Y Hawk ha salido con Merrill. Así que esta es la tabernita que tenemos, chiquitita. ¡Ay! ¿Esta es la amiga? ¡Ay, quiero hablar con ella!
I pay my elves good and proper, you should know. Friend of the alien, and all, and... I mean, I'm Flissa. Can I get you a
Tío,
drink?
el hacedor me debió ayudar, tranquilízate. En realidad soy dalichiano.
It's all right, Flissa. I won't do anything frightening.
If you wanted to close the breach, I wouldn't mind. As I said, I'm Flissa.
Tío, me hace mucha gracia. De verdad. Aquí como hablan de los elfos, tío. Tú le cambias la palabra elfo por personas de color. Y es que es igual. No, yo a la gente de color los trato bien, ¿sabes?
No, igual que a los de LGTB, de estrella guiada.
Sí, es increíble.
You said Leliana asked you to run an Inquisition tavern. How did you meet?
I managed an inn back in Denerim. When I heard interesting gossip, I passed word to Liliana.
¿Esta es la de la taberna de Denerim? ¿Del risco rojo? No puede ser. Me pregunto si quería tener mi propia taberna. Dije sí.
What can you tell me about this area?
La Liliana la reclutó para acá.
¡Esta es de risco rojo! Porque no hay otra famosa. El resto creo que eran taberneros. Bueno, habría alguna otra chica, pero coño, pero esa era morena.
His prices aren't too high. Yet? Oh, there's also Minave. She studies beasts and things, as I understand.
Farewell.
Goodbye.
A ver si se llama Flisa. Ay, no puedo hablar con ella. Jo. Ay, qué pena. ¿Solas? ¿Dónde está Solas?
Ahora está arriba en una pendiente.
Ay, coño. ¿Solas? Hola, amigo.
The chosen of Andraste, a blessed hero sent to save us all.
I've no interest in being a hero. All I want is to find a way to seal this breach.
Pragmatic, but ultimately irrelevant. I've journeyed deep into the Fade in ancient ruins and battlefields to see the dreams of lost civilizations. I've watched as hosts of spirits clash to reenact the bloody past in ancient wars both famous and forgotten. Every great war has its heroes. I'm just curious what kind you'll be.
¿Ruinas antiguas?
What do you mean, ruins and battlefields?
Any building strong enough to withstand the rigors of time has a history. Every battlefield is steeped in death. Both attract spirits. They press against the veil, weakening the barrier between our worlds. When I dream in such places, I go deep into the fade. I can find memories no other living being has ever seen.
¿Puede dormir ahí?
You fall asleep in the middle of ancient ruins. Isn't that dangerous?
I do set wards. And if you leave food out for the giant spiders, they are usually content to live and let live.
Huh?
I've never heard of anyone going so far into the Fade. That's extraordinary.
Thank you. It's not a common field of study for obvious reasons. Not so flashy as throwing fire or lightning. The thrill of finding remnants of a 1,000-year-old dream? I would not trade it for anything. I will stay there. At least until the breach has been closed.
Was that in doubt?
I am an apostate surrounded by Chantry forces in the middle of a mage rebellion. Cassandra has been accommodating, but you understand my caution.
The giant hole in the sky trumps any other concerns. We can worry about the rest later.
Yes. Who can say what this world will look like when we are done fighting for it? But now let us hope either the mages or the Templars have the power to seal the breach. Closing the breach is our primary goal. But I hope we might also discover what was used to create it. Any artifact of such power is dangerous. The destruction of the Conclave proves that much.
You don't think whatever created the explosion was destroyed in the blast?
You survived, did you not? The artifact that created the breach is unlike anything seen in this age. I will not believe it destroyed until I see the shattered fragments with my own eyes.
Estoy de acuerdo.
We would do well to try to recover whatever created the breach.
Liliana's people have scoured the area near the blast and found nothing. Whatever the artifact was, it is no longer there. In any case, did you need me for anything?
Venga, lo elfo.
I'd be interested in hearing your opinions on elven culture.
I thought you would be more interested in sharing your opinions of elven culture. You are Dalish, are you not?
¡Joder! Esto no le va a gustar. Esto no le va a gustar. Venga, ¿por qué está tan enfadada? Porque está... Es que cualquiera que respondiera no le va a gustar. ¡No ve!
While they pass on stories, mangling details, I walk the Fade. I have seen things they have not.
The Dalish are trying to restore elven history. If you know something new, share it.
Would your clan listen to what I had learned in my studies? My travels? Or would they mock the Flatir and his stories and go back to their ruins? At least you were asking. But here's something. I will answer as I can.
I'd like to know more about the elves from...
Joder, hay dos que no le ha gustado.
The Dalish strive to remember Hallam Sharal. But Hallam Sharal was merely a fumbling attempt to recreate a forgotten land.
Arlathan.
Elvanan was the empire, and Arlathan its greatest city. Place of magic and beauty, lost to time.
No, ve qué bonito, tío, con las partículas. Y las partículas, si te fijas, vienen desde el muro para arriba, si te fijas. ¿De los árboles? Sí, bueno, vienen de los árboles, pero de donde sopla el viento es del muro para arriba. No vienen, para abajo vienen unas cuantas, pero si te fijas, por aquí nada más vienen las de arriba. Está súper bien hecho.
You've studied ancient elves. What else do you know of Arlathan?
We hear stories of them living in trees and imagine wooden ramps.
El viento como sopla. Que no hay música, solamente hay sonido. Y solas hablando. Debía tener que ponerlo de doblar sonido para que tú también estés escuchando. Habla más de lo de Alichano. Menos mal que a Sola le encanta escucharse. Pero no conozco a nadie que le guste tanto escucharse.
As your clans have been separate for so long, they have all changed, adapting to the lands in which they live. Some are no more than bandits, others trade freely with humans, and some have disappeared entirely into the forests.
What can you tell me about elves living in human cities?
Cada vez que le hace una pregunta le gusta.
In alienages or among the slaves of Tevinter is like any of the impoverished and powerless. They cling to memories of a better past. and practice a few rituals.
Es que de verdad, tío, lo de la feria todavía me flipa, ¿eh?
Different from the magic used by humans.
No and yes. Magic is magic, just as water is water, but it can be used in different ways. Dalish magic is more practical, not needing country approval, although they still frown on blood magic. Superstition. Much of it is more subtle. A legacy from when elves were immortal.
¿Especial? ¿Su inmortalidad era mágica?
Legends of elven immortality. Did they use magic to increase their lifespan?
No. It was simply part of being elven. The subtle beauty of their magic was the effect, not the
Tío,
cause
y el
of their
fuego
nature.
aquí.
Some spells took years to cast. Echoes would linger for centuries, harmonizing with new magic in an unending symphony. It must have been beautiful.
Hablando de magia de
You
sangre.
said that the censure against blood magic was a superstition.
I did. It's fortunate Cassandra is not within earshot.
Eso es cierto.
Most modern cultures forbid blood magic. Publicly, even Devinter disapproves.
Públicamente.
But as I said, magic is magic. It matters only in how it is used.
¿La magia de sangre es maligna o esta? Esta yo creo que será la buena, ¿no? En plan, desaprueba y aprueba, ¿no? Porque no entiendo lo que significa de tanto da la magia de sangre.
Como diciendo, es tan poderosa.
Ah.
To be honest, I don't see it as different from any other magic. It's a means to an end.
Sí, sí, yo era mago de sangre en el 1.
The problem is that
Eso debería haberlo probado, cabrón.
forbidden, so only criminals practice it. While in Devinter, magisters compete with each other instead of keeping their volatile friends in check. They always succeed through power, so they have never had the chance to learn another way.
We'll talk later.
Goodbye. What can I do for you?
Venga, ¿qué hay? Háblame de Herbelo, hijo.
What do you know about the Fade?
A great deal from my wanderings. There are few hard facts, but I can share what I have learned.
Háblame de la brecha.
I'd like to know more about the
Juli, le encanta hablar, tío. Le encanta hablar.
In the veil between this world and the Fade.
Cada vez que le pregunto algo sube, aunque sea un punto, pero le gusta.
Small tears occur naturally when magic weakens the veil. Or when spirits
¿No te gusta?
cluster at an area that has seen many
El
deaths.
único personaje que no
Your
odio.
mark
Yo odio a la
exerts
negra.
control over the breach.
Ah, ¿cómo se llama? No me gusta. Vivien no me gusta, tío.
Yo siempre me lleva muy bien con Vivian.
Yo a mí no me gusta, tío. Me cae fatal.
I'd like to know more about the Veil.
Circle mages call it a barrier between this world and the Fade. But according to my studies in ancient elven lore, that is a vast oversimplification. Without it, imagine if spirits entered freely. The Fade was not a place one went, but a state of nature like the wind.
Sounds like it would be wonderful.
And dangerous. But yes, a world where imagination defines reality. Where spirits are as common as trees or grass. Instead, spirits are strange and fearful. And the Fade is a terrifying world touched only by mages and dreamers. I am glad that I'm not alone in seeing the beauty of such a world, along with the obvious peril.
I'd like to know more about demons.
The Chantry says that demons hate the natural world and seek to bring their chaos and destruction to the living. But such simplistic labels misconstrue their motivations, and in so doing, do all a great disservice. Spirits wish to join the living, and a demon is that wish gone wrong.
¿Eso se puede cambiar?
Is there a way to coexist? To live with them? If not in peace, at least
¿Tú
without
contigo
such
constantemente
active
no desaprueba o qué?
Not in the world we know today. The veil creates a barrier that makes true understanding most unlikely. But the question is a good one, and it matters that you thought to ask.
We'll talk later.
Goodbye.
Y de ahí se potencia, ¿no?
Y ahí
I'd like to know
en
more
vez
about
de
you, Solus.
medirlo, pues lo desmedimos.
You're an apostate. Yet you risked your freedom to help the Inquisition.
Not the wisest course of action when framed that way.
I appreciate the work you're doing, Solus. I just wanted to know more about you.
I am sorry. With so much
Yo
fear in the
intenté
air.
bailarle el agua siempre, pero es que llega
What
un
would you know of
momento de que es que él discrepa conmigo y discrepamos y ya no se puede.
No se puede, ¿no? Yo es que siempre... Tú sabes que yo estoy de parte de los magos.
What made you start studying the
Al
faith?
máximo.
I grew up in a village to the north. There was little to interest a young man,
Y eso
especially
de
one
parte-
gifted with
Ah, bueno,
magic.
aún así me maté
But as
con
I
mi
slept,
hora.
spirits of the Fade showed me glimpses of wonders I
Y
had
luego con
never
la
imagined.
guerrera
I
también me
treasured
maté.
my dreams. Being awake, out of the Fade, became troublesome.
Con lo capillita que era.
Spirits try to tempt you.
No more than a brightly colored fruit is deliberately tempting you to eat it. I learned how to defend myself from more aggressive spirits, and how to interact safely with the rest. I learned how to control my dreams with full consciousness. There was so much I wanted to explore.
I gather you didn't spend your entire life dreaming.
No. Eventually, I was unable to find new areas in the Fade.
Why?
2 reasons. First, the Fade reflects the world around it. Unless I traveled, I would never find anything new. Second, the Fade reflects and is limited by our imaginations. To find interesting areas, one must be interesting.
Is this why you joined the Inquisition?
I joined the Inquisition because we were all in terrible danger. If our enemies destroyed the world, I would have nowhere to lay my head while dreaming of the Fade.
I wish you luck.
Thank you. In truth, I've enjoyed experiencing more of life to find more of the Fade.
How so?
You train to flick a dagger or an arrow to its target. The grace with which you move is a pleasing side benefit. You have chosen a path whose steps you do not dislike because it leads to a destination you enjoy. As have I.
You said you traveled to many different places.
This world, or its memory, is reflected in the Fade. Dream in ancient ruins, and you may see a city lost to history.
A mí me cae muy
Some
bien.
of my fondest memories were found in crumbling cities.
Siempre me ha caído muy bien. Nunca he tenido problema con él.
The best of the battlefields.
Yo no sé cómo
Spirits
siempre
press so
he tenido
tightly on the
problemas.
veil
Mira que
that
no lo
you
he
can slip
intentado.
across with but a thought.
Any place in particular?
I dreamt
Incluso con
Dostigar.
la capillita.
I
En
witnessed
la
the
capillita
brutality
ya
of the
ni lo escuché.
Darkspawn and the valor of the Ferelden warriors. I saw Alistair and the hero Ferelden light the signal fire, and Logain's infamous betrayal of Kaelin's forces.
I've heard the stories. It would be interesting to hear what it was really like.
That's just it. In the Fade, I see reflections created by spirits who react to the emotions of the warriors. One moment, I see heroic wardens lighting the fire, and a power-mad villain sneering as he lets King Kaelin fall. The next, I see an army overwhelmed and a veteran commander refusing to let more soldiers die in a lost cause.
You can't tell which is real.
It is the Fade. They are all real.
Have you always traveled and studied alone?
Not at all. I have built many lasting friendships. Spirits of wisdom, possessed of ancient knowledge, happy to share what they had seen. Spirits of purpose helped me search. Even wisps, curious and playful, would point out treasures I might have missed.
I don't know of any spirits by those names.
They rarely seek this world. When they do, their natures do not often survive exposure to the people they encounter. Wisdom and purpose are too easily twisted to pride and desire.
You're saying that you became friends with pride and desire demons?
They were not demons for me.
Meaning?
The Fade reflects the minds of the living. If you expect a spirit of wisdom to be a pride demon, it will adapt. And if your mind is free of corrupting influences, if you understand the nature of the spirit, they can be fast friends.
I'm impressed that you could become friends with spirits.
Anyone who can dream has the potential. Few ever try. My friends comforted me in grief and shared my joy. Yet, because they exist without form, as we understand it, the Chantry declares that spirits are not truly people. Is Cassandra defined by her cheekbones and not her faith? Varric by his chest hair and not his wit?
I hadn't thought about it that way. But I see your point.
Thank you. Few are willing to entertain such a notion.
We'll talk later.
Goodbye.
Me gusta. Me cae muy bien, chaval. Boticario. Pociones.
Look who's back from the dead. Again.
¿Nos conocemos?
I don't recall meeting you before.
I'd be surprised if you did. You weren't particularly coherent.
Ah, tú eres el que me trataste.
Someone had to patch you up after you staggered out of making us wear, though. So, you're welcome.
Gracias.
I didn't realize. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, you can pay me back by fixing the world. Name's Adan. I'm in charge of keeping our little band here stocked with potions and elixirs. Not that Seeker Pentagast seems to care whether we've got the supplies to actually do that.
¿Qué necesitas?
For a healer, you don't seem particularly nurturing.
I'm not a healer. I'm an alchemist who's forced to play.
¡Nubi!
You want something to burst into flame on contact with the air? Done. Gladly. Patching up wounded soldiers is a waste of my time and talents. But there are a few around who can help.
¿Cómo van las cosas?
How are your people holding up?
There's no shortage of work. That's for damn sure.
How do I go about having potions made?
Just take a look there and tell me what you'd like. Find a recipe for something better, I can make that too.
Imagino que habrá que hacer una poción, ¿no?
You're back. and in one piece.
¿Necesita ayuda?
Is there anything I can do to help out?
We're fine as far as raw labor goes. You've more important things to do than tend to me. I only wish I'd been able to find Master Tajin's notes. Old bastard was working on something special. He died at the conclave, and his notes weren't here. Been too busy dealing with the wounded to look for them.
Farewell.
A ver qué... Ah, no hay misiones, ya se ha ido. ¿Este qué es? Ah, equipar y mejorar. Equipar, estas son las de 8-8. Y esto por si tú te quieres equipar, ¿no? Generación, tarro de abejas. Tónico, armadura de roca. Requisito alquímico. Ah, pero que no tengo ninguna. Esto es para hacerla, ¿no? Vale. Esta casa no la reconozco. Coño. Tiene que estar al lado para que brille. Tiene que estar al ladito. Zola, ¿me dejas abrir tu casa? Gracias. ¿Qué mierda de casa, Zola? No tienes nada. Ah, mezcla pociones. Misión completada. No he hecho pociones, ¿eh? Pero bueno, si tú lo dices, pues he hecho pociones. ¿Dónde? Dame la raíz élfica. ¿Qué me falta? Ah, Leliana. Hija, ¿dónde estás? Aquí una misión. ¿Quién? Habla con la intendente. ¿Quién es la intendente?
La que está al lado de la mesa. No, esa no. La mesa, intendente, la tren.
Ah, juraría que aquí estaba Leliana.
Adentro.
Ah, coño. Hola, Leliana. No te había visto, chiquilla. Estaba ya agachada ahí. ¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué estás haciendo? No ha cambiado nada, tío. No ha cambiado nada. Aunque siempre ha sido muy así, ¿eh? Pero en este se potencia, ¿eh?
To die so that your will is done, is death your only blessing? You speak for Andraste, no?
No.
What does the Maker's prophet have to say about all of this? What's his game?
Me ha salido súper bien mi personaje, tío. Lo he dicho unas cuantas veces, ¿no?
Eres como Solas.
¿De qué?
Que se regodea en sí mismo.
Do you see the sky? What about the temple ruins? The bones lying
Leliana, que yo no he hecho nada, colega.
Even if you didn't support the divine's peace, you wouldn't call this right. Who could? So many innocent lives. The faithful murdered where the holiest of holies once stood.
Nubi, la más sagrada entre las sagradas.
What is it if not a game or a cruel joke?
No puedo hablar por Andraste.
I speak for no one but myself, and I have no answers for you.
You probably don't even worship the Maker.
Nubi.
Lucky. He asks
Está herida, ¿eh?
The chantry teaches that the Maker abandoned us. He demands repentance for our sins. He demands it all. Our lives, our deaths. Justinia gave him everything she had, and he let her die.
¡Nubi! Echa la culpa a su asesino. Las personas mueren. Mis condolencias.
I'm sorry. Her death has clearly hit you hard.
Not just me. All of us. She was the divine. She led the faithful. She was their heart. If the Maker doesn't intervene to save the best of his servants,
¡Nubi!
What good is he? I used to believe I was chosen, just as some say you are. I thought I was fulfilling his purpose for me, working with the divine, helping people. But now she's dead. It was all for nothing.
Dios, no me acordaba de esto. ¿Por qué me cuenta esto?
I'm not really the best person to talk to. Doesn't the Chantry have people for this?
So I should let a priest comfort me? No, this is my burden. I regret that I even let you see me like this. It was a moment of weakness. It won't happen again. Come, to work then. We will speak later.
No vi la tía.
Gracias que Leliana es consejera, ¿eh?
Ah, ya no quiere hablar conmigo. Coño, no quiere hablar conmigo la capulla. Inspeccionar requerimientos. No hay diagrama disponible. ¿Esto qué?
If you're here to clean, Hess can get you a bucket and a broom. Anyone calls you knife here, come to me. Oh, you're him. Thren. Inquisition quartermaster.
Ah,
I'm doing what I can
y da igual lo que me has
to
dicho, ¿no?
mess. If you find
Me
what I'm
insultas por tener las
doing
orejas
my
largas.
positions, I'd appreciate you bringing it in.
¿Cuál es tu trabajo?
What do you do here?
I make sure the Inquisition troops have food in their bellies and iron in their hands. Both are important. Lots of people expecting us to be heroes, marching all day to fight the demons. Turns out heroes need to dig latrines just like everyone else.
¿Y cómo acabaste aquí?
How does someone end up as quartermaster for the Inquisition?
I served for Eldon under Ten Loghain MacTier, best commanding officer this world has ever seen. After they all turned on him at Denerim, though, there wasn't much use for people who held that opinion. Queen Honora offered my services to the Inquisition. It was a kindness. She knew I supported her father and got
La reina Honora, ¿eh? Reina Honora, ¿eh? Me alegro que creas en él. Entiendo tu impunidad. Loghain es un...
Popularidad.
Loghain es un traidor. Uy, te lo voy a decir a la puta cara. Es que te escupo aparte diciendo el nombre.
Loghain MacTier betrayed the Grey Wardens and his king.
Were you there at Ostagar? I was. King Kaelan overextended his position, and the Grey Wardens were too late.
Te voy a meter.
Following the original plan would have gotten everyone killed. Ten Loghain.
Te voy a meter una hostia. ¿Con la mano abierta?
Liliana told me I shouldn't talk about this. Just forget it.
Te voy a ¿Qué hostia tienes en la cara?
I'm making this Inquisition run with what we have, but we're not a real army. We're stretched thin on materials, so I've put up a requisition list for anything that could help our people. Here, take a look.
Mira, armas.
You find some iron and a good login site. Maybe Harriet can get our troops better weapons.
¿El qué?
Ahí está. La mía era completamente distinta.
If I have material for a special order, do I bring it to you?
Just take it over there. One of my boys will take the materials or jot down what you found.
Farewell.
Make her go with you.
¡Qué hostia! ¡Qué hostia! Un puesto de tala, vale. Los puestos de tala se consiguen en los alrededores de... Buscándolo, vaya, que no es que lo tenga así como así.
Como en mis partidas Loghain está vivo, pues eso no es lo que se le ocurrió.
Vi qué hostia, tío, qué hostia, aquí hay dos, dice. Leliana y Barrick. Ah, claro. Vi qué hostia, tío, pero hostia con la mano abierta, ¿eh?
Sí, yo esa no la tenía yo tanta de eso.
Joder, tío, qué asco de tía. Venga, aquí hay palés. Mira, gente, ahí no terminamos. Es que tengo que sacar los perros y tengo que sacar los hurones. Y cuanto más tarde termino. Porque si termino prontillo, hay posibilidad de que juegue un ratillo por la noche. No mucho, pero un ratillo. ¿Sabes? Pero claro, si termino a las 11 de la noche, no voy a empezar a jugar a las 11 de la noche.
Ah, ya.
No, coño, quiero terminar esta tía para ya el siguiente capítulo sí o sí tener que salir al mundo. Y ya terminar con esta gente. Hasta que se unan los nuevos, los cómplices, los nuevos...
Ah, pues intenta hacer tu magia por aquí.
¿Mi magia? ¿Qué
¿Por
magia? Uy, qué cabezazo le he metido a eso. Había un anillo, pero creo que no lo puedes tener.
¿Quieres explicaros? Sí.
No, un anillo especial que hacía que las cosas estas te dieran más experiencia. ¿Por qué puedo abrirlo?
Porque eres pícaro.
Pero,
Eso te he dicho, haz tu magia.
pero entonces, si tú no eres pícaro, ¿estas cosas nunca puedes abrirlas o necesita una llave especial?
Le pides luego cuando venga cierta personaje que te lo abra. Pero tienes que acordarte de eso.
Hostia. Y alcanzado nivel 4 nada más leyendo y hablando con la gente, ¿eh?
Es una personaje a la que le tienes que pedir ayuda.
¿Dónde? Vale, ahí hay un cofre.
Son 4 más 3 más las que tienes que abrir.
Pero tú, ¿cómo te sabes esto?
He jugado.
Pero habrá jugado 1 o 2 veces. No 500. Lo que pasa es que como en el 1 no te dan experiencia. Pero bueno. De todas maneras estoy viendo que no hay nada. Espera, hay un cofre. ¿Por qué está encarcelado un cofre? ¿Por qué hay encarcelado un cofre? Creo que no había nada aquí dentro. Únicamente era abrir por abrir. ¿Eh? Experiencia. Pues mira, simplemente yendo a las catacumbas hemos conseguido algunas cosillas.
Pues una persona que va a la taberna y te ayuda.
Sí, porque aquí no puedes tener, digamos, compis. Aquí tú siempre estás tú.
Exactamente.
Hay 2 misiones aquí. ¿Qué misiones tenemos? Ve a la mesa de guerra para rescatar a los soldados. Armas perdidas. Han desaparecido soldados de la Inquisición en la ciénaga inexplorada del sur de... ¿Vale? Y llévale a minero el objeto para que lo investigue. Vale, esto es... vale, es la cinemática de esta. Vale.
This is an inopportune time, Marquis. More of the faithful flock here each day. But allow me to introduce you to the brave soul who risked his life to slow the magic of the breach.
Josephine me encanta.
Master Lavelan, this is the Marquis d'Aurelian, one of Divine Justinia's greatest supporters.
Ese soy yo.
And the rightful owner
Ya el
of
título que te ha metido, ¿eh?
How's d'Aurelian lend Justinia these lands for pilgrimage? This Inquisition is not a beneficiary of this arrangement.
¿Y qué quieres? ¿Soy dueño de esta tierra?
This is the first I've heard of Haven having an owner outside the Chantry.
My wife, Lady Machin of Denerim, has claimed to Haven by ancient treaty with the monarchs of Heraldon. We were honored to lend its use to Divine Justinia. She was a woman of supreme merit. I will not let an upstart order remain on her holy grounds.
¿Tus seguidores quieren cobijo? Eso es cierto, ¿eh? No. Las pestañas están bien. Y el ojo, aunque parezca un poco rojo, no, están bien. Están bien.
People have been injured. You can't just turn them out onto the snow.
And who benefits if they stay?
¡No ve!
Divine Justinia, Marquis. The Inquisition, not the Chantry, is sheltering the pilgrims who mourn her.
Why is the Chantry ignoring the faithful?
Because it remains in shock. We face a dark time, Your Grace. Divine Justinia would not want her passing to divide us. She would, in fact, trust us to forge new alliances to the benefit of all, no matter how strange they might seem.
I'll think on it, Lady Montillier. The Inquisition might stay in the meanwhile.
¿Es el dueño del refugio de verdad?
Do the d'Aurelians actually have a claim on this place?
His Grace's position is not so strong as he presents it. Despite their Ferelden relations, the d'Aurelians are our legion. If the Marquis wishes to claim Haven, Empress Selene must negotiate with the Ferelden on his behalf. Her current concerns are a bit larger than minor property disputes.
Has manejado muy bien al Marqués.
I'm so pleased the Marquis isn't tossing us out into the cold.
His Grace is only the first of many dignitaries we must contend with.
You expect more people in Haven?
Undoubtedly. And each visitor will spread the story of the Inquisition after they depart. An ambassador should ensure the tale is as complimentary as possible.
No ve la tía. ¿Cómo llegaste al lado?
May I ask what brought you to work for the Inquisition?
Sister Leliana approached me. We've been acquainted for quite some time. For better or worse, being the Inquisition's diplomat has become as interesting as she promised.
¿De dónde vienes?
What sort of dealings have you had with nobility?
For some years, I was the royally appointed court ambassador from Antiva to Orlais. The nobility of Thedas is a rather singular sphere. Those I'm not acquainted with, I know through reputation.
Pues me alegra que esté aquí.
The Inquisition is lucky to have you as an advocate, Lady Montillier.
Thank you. Let us hope so. Thedas's politics have become agitated as of late. I hope to guide us down smoother paths. But please excuse me. I've much work to do.
Creo que esta es Vi, ¿no? Porque Patrick creo que era chica y salió con ella, creo.
Ella es Vi.
What may I do for you?
¿Cómo conociste a Leliana?
You and Liliana know each other.
We moved through similar circles in Orlais. I believe we actually met in Val Royaux. Leliana was quite an accomplished...
El juego, con J mayúscula, ¿eh? ¿Qué es el juego?
What exactly do you mean when you say the game?
Forgive me. The game refers to the slow duels of influence among the noble and powerful of Orlais. It's a rather light-hearted name for the matter, but Orlesians are fond of playful touches.
Chuchi está... Claro, como no tiene camita ni tiene nada, el pobre está ahí y no está acostumbrado a dormir en el suelo.
What business are the Montiliers in exactly?
We began as
Ya hemos terminado, Chuchi, ya hemos terminado, ya nos queda poquillo.
We once sent entire fleets across the Waking Sea.
Sí, ¿un tiempo?
But not anymore.
No. These days our vessels are a touch more modest.
Habla de tu trabajo.
What did you do before coming here?
I had the great honor of serving Antiva's crown as ambassador to Orlais. I'm also first in line to become the head of House Montilier, though my siblings attend to our mercantile affairs.
How strong are your past loyalties?
I would never have given up my position if I did not intend to fully commit to the Inquisition. We cannot fall back on borders. Antiva is as threatened as any country by the rebellions. If anything, the alliances I forged there may help our current cause.
¿Habrá otras
Do you
causas?
think the Inquisition will continue after we seal the breach?
If we prove ourselves by healing the breach, people may turn to us for other things. Protection, counsel, justice. The Inquisition offered these once to those in need.
Tell me, do you believe I was saved by Andraste at the Temple of Sacred Ashes?
I should much like to believe so, Your Worship. The miracles Andraste performed were so long ago, they're difficult to picture. If it were truly her and the Fate who saved you, well, in any case, many already believe you walk in the Maker's light.
No ve.
Let's speak later.
Farewell. What may I do for you?
¿Cuáles son tus deberes?
What exactly does your job entail?
I meet with ambassadors from various factions and
Coñazo.
countries and cement alliances with them. We are a young cause. Diplomacy is essential to our credibility.
Eres una representante,
But you
vaya.
speak for the Inquisition with these nobles.
I do. Someone must foster goodwill on our behalf, as well as prevent controversy as news of us spreads.
No hay nada que le guste tan controversido. Ni le aumenta ni le baja. A esta le da igual.
Every noble house, every throne is waiting to see what the Inquisition does next. Many are willing to pledge support if offers are made in just the right fashion. I intend to see that they are.
Momento. Los consejeros son personajes especiales. Es decir, Leliana, Josephine y Cullen no tienen opinión. Siempre que hables con ellos...
Hostia, es verdad, coño, es verdad.
Nunca van a decir lo desaprobado.
Es verdad, coño. Es verdad. Es verdad. Es verdad, yo digo, tío, es que no aumenta ni baja. Es verdad. Que eso le da igual.
Por eso también son las relaciones más fáciles.
¿Te apuntaste por el orden?
So was it the prospect of stability that drew you here?
The full impact of the Mage Rebellion has yet to be felt, and that was before the death of the Divine. The violence must be curbed before we see it turn to full-scale war.
Vale, estoy de acuerdo.
I can only imagine the bloodshed if it escalates further.
I'm afraid history holds many examples of what will happen if it does.
Let's speak later.
Farewell. What may I do for you?
Vale, ¿algo de qué informar?
What do the people make of us?
Despite our fame, we're low on steadfast allies. We must aim for more.
¿Qué hay de nuestros aliados?
Any thoughts on the people here?
Who did you mean?
Es verdad, porque por ahora nada más tú puedes preguntarle a los demás qué piensan los restos, pero a esto no.
The commander is an intelligent, cautious man. I'm grateful he's in charge of our standing army. Still, he does sometimes resemble the man with a hammer to whom everything appears as a nail.
What's your impression of Solus?
I suppose I should be wary of an apostate, but our elven mage has conducted himself with the utmost propriety. And he has the most fascinating stories.
Ah, pues mira, le escucha.
Let's speak later.
Goodbye. Greetings.
What do the people make of us?
Despite our fame, we're low on steadfast allies.
Venga,
We must aim for more.
¿cómo están los invitados?
Any visiting dignitaries I should watch out for?
Sir Griffith of Denerim, a most distinguished knight of the realm. He's defeated darkspawn, slain demons, chased down abominations. Just don't ask him about it over dinner. He spares no detail.
¿Dónde? Entregar investigación. ¿Y esta tía qué hace aquí?
You're the Herald. Or, well, the one they're calling the Herald, anyway. I hope the Inquisition can restore order soon. I never really wanted to leave the
¿Nunca quiere salir del
My name
círculo?
is Maeve. I research demons and other creatures. Seeker Pentagast and I use what I find to help the soldiers fight them.
He encontrado para ti, así que eres maga. Investigas criaturas. Bueno, he encontrado algo para
I
ti.
found something the demons left behind. Can you use it?
Yes, that's very helpful. Just leave it there and the Tranquil and I will examine it.
Sí, porque la otra forja... Vale.
Can I help you with something?
Así que eres una maga.
You said you were a mage.
No, just an apprentice. I was never very good at magic. I've got just enough talent to be a danger to other people. But when the mages rebelled, people like me had nowhere to go. The Templars would have killed us. Luckily, Seeker Pentagast took me in, along with the Tranquil I was protecting.
¿No tuviste arro de
I'm
verde?
surprised that even an apprentice mage wouldn't join the rebellion.
I don't like using magic to fight. I'm not good at it either. I liked studying. I liked performing rituals that helped us unlock the secrets of the Veil. I liked having the Templars around to keep us safe.
Oh, eso es nuevo.
Hostia.
You might have done well among the Dalish. Our mages are encouraged to study safely.
Fenner will take the Dalish. Don't let my lack of Valisline fool you, Lethleen. I was a proud member of my clan until my magic manifested. You know what happens when they have too many mages. They gave me a pack and sent me into the woods to find my own life. I was 7 years old.
Coño.
I'm so sorry.
I stumbled into a village, starving and cold, a few weeks later. I started using magic to scare predators away. The villagers saw me make fire in my fist. They were terrified and wanted to kill me.
Coño.
Templars saved me from them. They gave me food and clothes and took me to the Circle. I've seen what life is like without the Templars, and I want no part of it. I just want to study.
You said that you were
Coño, no
keeping
tenía
some
ni
of the
puta idea,
Tranquils.
¿eh?
Pues a esta le gusta el círculo, no era tan malo para ella.
My Circle rebelled, but the rest were forgotten. Most Circle mages look down on the Tranquil, or try to pretend they don't exist. They don't have any emotions. They can barely take care of themselves, can't defend themselves at all. It's a shame. I like them better than most people.
I'm glad they have someone who cares about them.
They deserve better. They're polite, they're rational, and they'll never get angry at you. When they study, they have a focus no normal person could ever match. But the Templars, even some of the mages, mistreated them just because they could. The Tranquil never fought back. If not for that, I don't know. Doesn't really matter now.
You said Cassandra has you researching creatures.
Yes. If you find anything interesting in your travels, I'd appreciate you bringing it to me. I may be able to find some weakness our soldiers can exploit.
Creo que esto es para que tú quitarle más porcentaje de daño a los enemigos, ¿no?
Some materials are useful for making potions or gear for the Inquisition.
Why did you decide to research dangerous creatures?
I like the outdoors. The idea of the outdoors, anyway. When some monster is coming at you, glowing eyes and burning claws, it's terrifying. But once you know how it works, you can deal with it. It's just another part of the world. So much of this world is only frightening because we don't understand it.
I'll speak with you later.
Travel safely.
Me ha gustado mucho la tía.
Yes. Good.
Ah, simplemente hay que entregarlo y ya está.
Find anything, please bring it in.
Vale, ¿qué queda?
Ya va directamente a la mesa, ¿no?
Sí.
¿Dónde tienes la misión? En la mesa.
Sí, porque aquí no hay puerta, ¿no? Vamos a la mesa. Tenemos una misión. Vamos a hacerla antes de nada, que es la de...
Esa es la mesa.
A la mesa de guerra para rescatar a los soldados. ¿Qué soldados?
Estas son...
Ah, en la ciénaga inexplorada del sur de Ferelden. Ah, esto es para abrir otra zona.
Sí, y esta mesa recuerda que tiene las misioncitas que duran tiempo real.
Vale, vamos a ver. Y con esto ya hemos terminado, gente. Ha sido un capítulo pesado, Muy pesado, si yo ya lo sé. En la ciénaga, ¿dónde está la ciénaga?
Abajo.
Tierras exteriores. Esta es poder necesario 8. 8, colega.
We'll post soldiers a safe distance from the temple.
Our best guess at safe, anyway.
Venga, vamos a entrar hasta con mi clan, venga. A ver, yo sé, no, pueden todos, ¿no?
Sí,
todo es igual.
No, todos duran lo mismo, ¿eh?
Sí.
Dura menos.
Vale, dice, mis tropas pueden llevar la noticia que están a salvo y dejar que la Inquisición se le debe tomar en serio. Los de Alicharo interpretan las obras, no las palabras. Será mejor que mi agente elfo lleven algo que el clan necesite como muestra de buena... Los vuestros deben hacer con cuidado. Uno de los escribas elfo podía llevar un mensaje y compartir noticias del tratado. Me gusta más este. Me gusta Leliana. ¿Cómo lo trata Leliana?
Let's see what we have.
Venga, ¿qué más tenemos? Y Josephine. Que no tengo ni que verlo. La Inquisición asegura que establecer el orden, el caos. Pero he visto elfos y apóstatas entre ellos. Son salvajes que destruyen nuestras raíces. Tienen una hostia. Nuestro monarca tiene que enviar un ejército y mis caballeros fueron diezmados en el conclave. Solicitamos vuestra ayuda para que las tierras recuperen la paz. Podríamos enviar unas patrullas, pero preferiría ayudar a los refugiados y no al Rorlicain. Sí, Rorlicain. Un par incluso entre sus semejantes. Enviemos una educada negativa y nada más. Quizás nos convenga aprovechar sus delirios. Mi espía puede hostigar a los refugiados para que se vayan a otro sitio. Así nos ganaríamos la simpatía. Me gusta Leliana, tío.
Pues entonces deja que Leliana termine su trabajo.
Sí, me gusta
y la
Leliana.
mandas a ella.
Venga. El tener el pináculo debe transmitir nuestras condolencias por la muerte de Mina Justina. La Santísima Fe. Me gusta Josephine, es como más diplomática. Porque de qué va a servir una carta, ¿sabes? Aunque no pueda ir, me gusta Josephine.
At your service.
Venga, uno que pueda ir coolen, venga.
Mira el del dinero, ¿no? ¿Ah? Porque no tienen mucho. Ah,
No.
o detrás del emporio hay algo. Detrás del emporio creo que hay misión.
Detrás... No, pero necesito poder 3.
Vale.
Y las preocupaciones de un noble no me gusta. Pues venga, vamos a conseguir dinero, venga. 1 hora, bueno, da igual.
Mira, dentro de 1 hora ya lo tienes terminado.
Que se le van cayendo mejillas al micro. Perdón, gente. Pero se le van cayendo mejillas al micro. Se ha tenido que estar escuchando muy bien, ¿eh? Pero bueno, es que se le caen mejillas cuando hablo. Tendré mejillas o piel muerta en la barba, lo que sea. Se ha tenido que escuchar súper bien, ¿verdad? Ay. ¿Ha apuntado cuando hemos hecho el corte de Barrick? Pues apúntalo, niña. Gente, hace un capítulo súper aburrido. Yo lo sé, que es un capítulo súper aburrido, como los que hacíamos en el 1. Pero había que hacerlo. Simplemente había que hacerlo. Creo recordar que... hostia, ¿tenemos que hablar con este o no?
You're awake and out of Lady Cassandra's
Nubi.
clutches. And I slipped that young elven lass good coin to tell me when you came back to us. No matter, no matter. Segret, honored to meet you.
Claro, habla delante de mí de los elfos, habla bien. Pero podía haber dicho, no, es harapiento.
What do you think I'll be doing exactly?
Word's already spreading that if anyone can close that blighted thing in the sky, it's you. Anything you need is yours. For a reasonable price, of course. Supplies are a little tight, given the circumstances.
¿Por qué te quedaste? Vamos a hablar con este tío y ya terminamos, ¿vale, gente?
The kind with nowhere else to go. Those blasted demons destroyed most of my goods. If I stay here, work some contacts, I can start rebuilding. Maybe, just maybe, help you folks out in the process.
¿Qué tal los ánimos?
You must speak with most everyone here. How are people doing?
Hope and fear in equal measure. No one really knows what it means when an Inquisition is called. Yet. I imagine it's no better for you. You've got my sympathies, for what it's worth.
Can I see what you have for sale?
Of course. My wares are at the table.
Seguro, 100% que esto no vale para nada, ¿no? El tótem, los soldados, el brazalete, la acuamarina, esto no vale para nada, seguro, ¿no?
Es la basura.
Pues ya está, dale a vender. ¿Y esto qué? Ah, esto es fabricación, esto no... Eso no. Y... hostia. Ah, vale, esto es para vender, decía yo digo, no, ve. ¿Qué pedazo de armadura tiene?
Para comprar.
Sí,
Mira a ver si hay algún diagrama que sea interesante.
Estos son diagramas, ¿no?
No, estos son estos. Esos son los diagramas.
Vale, tengo 900, pues sí, puedo comprar. Otros, normalmente algunas mejoras y esas cosas, ¿no?
Otros normalmente objetos de misión. Te vayan a mandar.
Voy a... Espera. Tengo esta y nada más. Entonces...
Te va arriba. Arriba tienes alguna más.
Sí,
Mira.
vamos a la otra, vamos a la otra.
No. Dale al mapa. Hay 2 flechas, te queda el pedido.
Vale, la otra ya sé dónde está. Espera, creo que aquí siempre había como plantas o cosillas. Está escuchando, está escuchando. Está escuchándonos. No sé por qué estamos construyendo esta máquina de asedio. Si no, vamos a asediar nada. Que todas las cosas de aquí son importantes. Muy importantes.
Creo que hay algo más.
Aquí hay de todo, tío. Con esta esquina siempre aquí hay de todo.
Por ahí sonaba algo. Ah, mira, hay un baúl.
Qué pedazo de cofre, ¿no? Y todo esto aún no hemos ido, que hay gente que va directamente a las tierras intermedias. Aún no hemos movido de aquí. Yo le llevo tierra intermedia. Creo que la compra está en comprar-vender en la herrería.
¿Qué compra?
La otra tienda que hay.
Sí, ya. Esa es otra misión, pero si tú le das al mapa, por favor, señor, al mapa, a la mapa. ¿Te das cuenta que ahí te sale una misión arriba?
Coño.
Es lo que te
Encuentra
estoy
las
diciendo.
notas de Tiger. Ah, eso es para el investigador.
¡Claro!
Modifica alguna armadura. Ahora modifica. Vale, que tengo que añadirle alguna mejora, ¿no?
Exactamente.
Eso lo haré después. Modificar armadura. ¿Dónde está para comprar y vender? Comprar y vender. Vale, tenemos esto. Renovación de técnica, infinito. ¿Qué hace? Ah, reasigna las técnicas, vale. Esto es una, que es la primera vez, y esto es después de esto. Pues no hay nada.
Ah, no tienes que comprar nada, mira.
Bueno. Gente, lo dicho, lo dejamos por aquí, ¿vale? Ha molado, ha estado bastante bien. Hace un capítulo un poco aburrido, pero bueno, igual que cuando hablábamos en el campamento. Cada vez que uno nuevo se añade a nuestro equipo, tenemos que hacer esto. De todas maneras, los nuevos vendrán poquito a poquito. No serán tan pegote como este. ¿Sabes lo que os digo? No. Espero que os haya gustado. Ha estado bastante bien. Antes he subido un poquito el volumen del juego en general para que la voz se escuche un poquito mejor, ya que Cristina dijo que se escuchaba un poquito flojo. Así que vamos a probar. Ya simplemente iremos probando. Y ya está, el siguiente sí, ya que sí que será un juego de Dragon Age Inquisition de verdad, en un nuevo mapa, explorar, luchar con nuestros compañeros, que es como tiene que ser. Esto ha sido, bueno, esto también forma parte del juego, ¿no? Pero que el otro un poco más de explorar, que es lo que suele gustar más, ¿no? Esto es más como para escuchar la historia de todo el mundo, escuchar... ¡Novela, tía! ¡Que ya lo sé, que el cielo, que te calle! ¡Qué pesadilla! Bueno, pues como... Joder, es que no paraba de cielo, el hacedor. ¡Qué pesada! Gente, los dejamos por aquí. Espero como siempre que os haya molado, ¿vale? Ha estado bastante guay. He tardado una puta semana. Hemos tenido... Pues los perros están... Vaya, tienen garrapatas. Mañana hemos tenido que ir de urgencia. Vaya, los hurones no paran. Es verdad que los hurones, la verdad que están bastante sanos y bastante bien, la verdad. Pero es verdad que no paran, tienen mucha energía, tienes que sacarlo, tienes que limpiarlo y estamos aquí, en el momento de grabar este vídeo, estamos en verano, en pleno agosto, es horrible, no sabéis la calor que hace, encima aquí que tenemos el aire, pero el resto de la casa es horrible, horrible, horrible. Lo dejamos por aquí, vaya, ¿vale? No olvidéis dejar vuestra marca como guerrero, darle a suscribir al canal, recordad que siempre en la descripción del vídeo está el enlace para Discord y nos vemos en la siguiente aventura. ¡Adiós!